worry, Paul's not driving. So welcome to the broadcast. How y'all doing?
Good morning. How are you? We're doing great.
I'm doing very well.
I'm here with Carlo Cavalar, one of our seniors. He's one of our captains as well.
Yeah, and Carlo, happy to have you here on the broadcast, and a big time shout out to the work that you've been doing. Carlo, just bring me into it. It's a 4-2-1 start for the team. What can you say about the efforts that the team has put together to put yourself in a situation where 5 out of 7 games have either been a draw or a victory?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And I think I can't say enough about the effort of the team that has put us in a position. Obviously, everybody puts in a lot of time. Everybody puts in a lot of effort. But I think this year especially, it's been just a special group. And we worked really hard on fitness over the summer, worked really hard to get it in shape. And then ever since we've been here, worked really hard to get our cohesion together and get our playing style together, get everything working very well. And I think scoring the goals in late minutes lately has really proven that, and really proud of everybody's work.
Yeah, David O'Brien, who's obviously there in the athletic communications department at Binghamton University, he told me that y'all are going to give him a heart attack. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, DOP, I know he's always very emotionally involved with our games, so we always got to keep it in the back of our mind when we're playing. But it's great to have somebody there that's as involved and really cares as much. So we play for him too, obviously.
Yeah, and your team has had so much success, Paul. I want to go back to you for this. And just, I mean, you and I spoke early on going into this season. We talked about really just so many things in the background, different things that you've done, and how this team, what you were envisioning, and going overseas and going to Kenya and then coming back and trying to implement some things that you have learned and experiences that you've had from our first conversation going into the season to where we are right now. How do you feel about what you've seen in 7 games?
I think the resiliency of this group is outstanding. The manner at which they approach training in the games has been terrific. The leadership group has done a very good job of leading and setting good examples. But perhaps maybe the most enjoyable part of the whole time we've been together is just that. The guys, when we're together, it's enjoyable. It's a lot of laughter, some banter, some good times. And obviously when you win games, that helps the spirit of the group straight away. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? We're here to play soccer, compete, and try to win games.
Yeah, and there was, I have to address this. Luke Yates, the goal that was scored in your recent match here, he jumped, I believe, 13 feet into the air. So, I mean, can you bring me into, did you think, I mean, that shot was an incredible shot. Is that, I mean, obviously the goal scored is incredible, and then the jumping afterward, pretty incredible. Can you bring me into the fact that did you believe that he could jump that high? I mean, has he stunned
Honestly,
you with his vertical?
I don't think he jumped as high as he could. I've seen him jump higher than that. So, I mean, what a terrific strike. The goal kind of comes out of nowhere. The ball falls to Luke, and he just hammers it into the goal. And the amount of energy and effort that the group had put into the game, especially the second half, to finish it that way was wonderful. And then obviously, there was a great picture that David had sent to us that he shared with the team. And you could see the smiles and delight, but obviously Luke was, sky high in the air.
Yeah, and
he got pretty good up.
Yeah, and Yates' goal, second game winner of the season, and the setup helped by Carlo Cavalar. So, Carlo, can you bring me into setting up your teammate Luke and just what you saw?
Well, it's obviously late in the game, so it's desperation time. The ball was kind of bouncing around, and I think E.T. Magliola handed the ball to me, and at that point, I think I was running away from the ball, so my main goal was just to get it back into the box where somebody can score. And so that's kind of what I did. And then Kalen had a great touch to lead off to Yates, and then I mean, what a special goal! It's just it's not too much on the assister at that point. It's just a special player making a special play. So not much on me at that point.
Well, and I mean the thing is for you, Carlo. I mean, we look at the goals all the time in soccer, but we don't always take the time to look at those that are setting people up. And even if it's not that assist, the pass that comes before that, the pass that starts the play, the footwork that creates the opportunity, the play that's made on defense that begins all of the action. What can you say about total team effort, and that a goal scored is not simply the goal, it's not simply the assist, but it's different elements of the game and different decision making pieces of the game that involve the entire team, because a goal is always set up by a string of events. It's not just simply one thing happening.
Well, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, a soccer game, it's 90 minutes, and then it boils down to these few moments that end up deciding the game on the score sheet. But everybody puts in work for 90 minutes. So to me, usually the goals are a result of 90 minutes of work, because when you end up looking at the stat sheet, and we have with WakeUpCall, we have much more detail than just goals and assists. And you can see that usually in the games that you win, it's not just the moments. It's not just, okay, you maybe had a couple more shots on goal. It's also you maybe had more possession, or you've won duels all the way across the game. And that just gives you a higher likelihood to end up in those positions. And then that's obviously everybody has to do that. And then when the balls get into the positions to score, then you need the guys to finish it off. It's one of the roles that belong on the field, but then for us midfielders or some defenders, and obviously the goalkeeper as well, you don't get as many opportunities to get on the score sheet, but you still got to do your job.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And I mean, Carlo, you came from Germany. Why Binghamton? How did this all happen? How did this all come to be? Bring me into the events. Like we talk about, there's a bunch of events that lead to a goal. What are the series of events that led to you even coming to Binghamton?
Oh, that's a long story. There are a lot of internationals in college soccer, so it's not as unique of a story, I would say, but it usually starts at around when you're 17 years old, 16 years old. There's people that tell you about the opportunity that you could play college soccer in the U.S., and what a great opportunity it would be to enhance both your education and have a great experience playing soccer. So then you start looking out, you start contacting coaches, and obviously the coaches do a great job recruiting all over the world, looking for talent. And then you get into contact. Obviously, it's difficult to see people in person, but you have your highlight tape. You gather all the information. And for me, it was I went down to Nashville for my first year, and then I wasn't quite happy with my situation there. So I decided to get on the transfer portal, and that's where for the first time I got in touch with Coach Moon and Coach Marco. And looking at Binghamton as a school, as a profile, I was hooked right away, because it's great for academics, it's great for soccer. Coach told me right away that they were building a new turf to play on. I was excited about that part. And then I went on a visit, and loved it, and I've been here ever since.
Yeah, and I love to see it, and I love the story. And hopefully you got some good food in Nashville, Tennessee before you hopped out. But
I got some.
You got some, you said?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I went to Cookout. Maybe that's kind of good food, but it's a perk of living in Nashville.
Fair enough. Coach, you're on the road right now. I think this is so much fun, and I've been doing this thing for over 20 years, but there's something so cool about the opportunity to just do different things. And I've never spoken to a team that is live, on the road, on the bus, about to go to a match, because you have a match today at 4 p.m. So you got a match today at 4 o'clock in Jersey City, New Jersey, against St. Peter's University. So bring me into that. I mean, bring me into the fact that I mean, you guys you're on the bus, you're on your way. It's game day today. Is there anything that goes into game day specifically? Do you want the guys to stay awake on the bus? Do you not want them to go to sleep? Do you want them to interact with each other? Is there homework being done? Are guys passed out in the back? I mean, what is the bus trip like for you?
Well, first of all, I brought Luke in with us, so we can talk to
Yes.
him after we have a chat.
Amen.
So for me, game days are all unique. I try to give the guys whatever they need, have the guys play hard, so I try to make them as relaxed as possible. We do talk about the opponent on game day. We sometimes have made changes. You know, we only have sometimes a couple of days in between games, so now we didn't put a lot of prep on the field into the next opponent. So yesterday we talked a little bit about St. Peter's, but we talked more about us and how we were going to play. We have a couple of injuries for today's game. We left a couple players back in Binghamton due to academics. So today is a little unique. We'll have a couple of new players in today's game. But most of all, right now, the guys are just relaxing. Some are doing some homework. Some are, probably watching some TikTok videos. But most of all, right now, it's just a relax. We'll have a pregame meal here. Right before we did get on the bus, we did go over some video and a scout on St. Peter's, how we want to play. We know already that we're going to make some changes early in the first half. So, we're really looking forward to the game. I think we have a good game plan going into today's game. The guys' competitive spirit will get us through the game, and then their soccer will obviously showcase throughout.
Yeah, I love that. I appreciate that breakdown. Luke, hello. Happy to have you here. Did you hear me say that you jumped 13 feet in the air? Am I accurate? Was it 14? The picture. Let me tell you this. When you cover sports for over 2 decades, like I have, there are pictures that are truly worth 1,000 words. And on a season that has started off strong, and I hope continues for you all, those moments, those pictures, they just speak something to me about what could be. So I guess it's a 2-part question. What was a better snapshot, the goal or your leap into the air, and was it 13 feet?
For me, it was definitely the picture, the leap in the air. Like the goal itself, after I watched it go in, I couldn't really believe it at that moment. It was just, as soon as I hit the ball, I looked over to Billy Clark, and his face was just spoke 1,000 pictures. So after that, I was completely just out of it, and that celebration was perfect for the win that we had on the road.
Did it just kind of happen inside of you that you were going to jump like a gazelle? I mean, was that just a moment?
Yeah, I am a jumper, but from how hard we all worked during that game, I'm surprised I got that far off the ground. My legs were feeling it towards the end.
So for you, Luke, I mean, you heard me ask Carlo about it, but the setup, right? That it's not just the goal, it's your teammates. Bring me into everything that kind of led into that, and then the assist from Carlo and how that all kind of worked out for you.
Just from that second half, I feel like we came out, we worked really hard as a team. We had a lot better communication and organisation in how we wanted to play for that second half. And I just feel like we put everything into the game to try and get a result out of it. And I just feel like the group as it is itself now, we're all just that much on the same page that we know what we want to do with the ball when we get it. And I don't know, we will work as hard as we can and die for it out the field.
You said that you're all on the same page and you just kind of know what you need to do. How did you get on the same page? What happened with this team on the field, off the field, in film study, on campus? How did this team get to a point here that we're 7 games in, about to be 8 with the match today, for you to say that this team is on the same page? How did you get on the same page?
I just feel like for this season especially, we know what each other's weaknesses are. We know what each other's strengths are. We know all that we need to do for individual players, and we all know what our roles are in the game. And I feel like we're in that perfect storm, we can all achieve as much as we want to do. And I feel like if we continue doing the same things, we're going to go really far this season.
Yeah, and Coach had spoken about the fact, Luke, that this is going to be a little bit different of a game in the sense of we're going to see some new faces, some guys are going to get out there, there's going to be some changes and things that are going on. What can you say about that, about the state of the team today at St. Peter's and the fact that you're going to be challenged to either by personnel or by different things schematically that you're going to do? What are you excited about with the opportunity that you have? Because I'm a glass half full guy. So with some change happening today, what are you excited about when it comes to that change?
Yeah, I'm going to be excited from the energy and the excitement of the players who are going to come in. Seeing them in practice yesterday and throughout all preseason, I know they've got a lot of energy and I know they've got the passion for it. So it's going to be a very interesting game. It's going to be a very tough game today, I think. There's going to be a lot of challenges, a lot of hard work, and I'm just really excited to see how everybody plays.
You are from England, so I have to ask you this. Liverpool, Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea. Do you have a team that you live with?
Wisely.
But I personally support Sheffield Wednesday who are in the championship, who haven't been very well at the start of the season. But I've always, as a kid, I've always been drawn towards Chelsea.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. No worries. We're on the bus. That's.
Say Chelsea.
What did you say?
I thought I heard him say Chelsea. I dropped the phone. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, I said that to somebody yesterday when we were in a restaurant and they were promoting another restaurant. I'm like, oh, it seems like your microphone dropped for a second. So, but Coach, being here picture in picture with Luke Yates, what have you seen from him specifically besides the fact that he obviously needs to maybe do some other Olympic sports when it comes to pole vaulting or other things that would involve him jumping?
High jumping.
Well, yeah, the high jump. What have you seen from?
Well, when we do some plyometrics and neuromusculars, he's the first guy I go to with a demonstration.
I love that.
He certainly leads by example. It's been wonderful. I think that we've seen Luke grow through the time that he's been with us. This year, he's been exceptional. He has led by example. He has led by his voice. He's been very instrumental in how well the backs have played. We've got more clean sheets. He's really been a key piece to not only the defensive side, but also on all set pieces. He's a threat in the box. He's a threat, whether it's in the air or on the ground. The goal that he scores off of a half volley the other day was outstanding. But he also is a threat, as he showed in the first game in the air as well.
Yeah, and being able to see the success, I'd be remiss, Coach, if I didn't, obviously congratulate Carlo and congratulate Luke, but the entire team. What can you say about the collective of these student athletes? It seems like Carlo and Luke believe in this team, believe in what you're doing, feel that there is a cohesion, that there is an understanding, that there is a bond. What do you see from the team throughout?
I think this group especially, I don't know how much we can achieve. I just know that we're moving in the right direction. We're fun to be around. They enjoy each other's company. They enjoy pushing each other. They have a high standard of excellence. I think that, our team culture has come out of the atmosphere and environment that's set every day. So you can now see who we are. You just come out to training, you see a relaxed environment. Once the session starts going, it gets faster as we go. I would like to see us start the games at a higher level. We tend to be now more second half team. I'd like us to be a complete game type of team. So that's something that we're talking about and trying to get better at. I think that, tonight's another opportunity for us to show that we can be pretty good in the first half as well as the second half. So I am looking forward to today's game to see how some of the guys respond to their performance from the Iona game and some guys to see for the first time.
And how do you do that, Coach? How do you ignite the team sooner? If it takes a little bit longer for the match to essentially light this fire, how do you get this to happen quicker? How do you get the spark to happen earlier on in the game?
I think some of it comes from their preparation mentally, as they are thinking about the game. I do try to get the guys who are similar, so the talkers, the guys who are fire, the excited type guys. I want them hanging around each other. The guys who need a little bit more alone time, a little more relaxation. The guys who are ice, like the guy that was behind us. I don't want him being too close to the fire because if ice is close to fire, it melts. And one of them's going to win out in that, right? So if I'm a quiet one before the game, that's how I get my best performance, and I'm near the hot guy, well, then I might not be ready. My bell curve might be too high. So we just kind of let the guys kind of be. They kind of know those things. We've talked about how we can get their best performances out of that. And of course, we coach them what they need. If they need a hug, we give them a hug. If they need a kick up, we give them that. But I think all the guys now are starting to take more ownership of their own performances, and collectively we get to see the outcome of that at the end of the game.
Luke, I want to go back to you here for a second. I appreciate that, Coach, what you had to say. Luke, this team, the Binghamton men's soccer team for the Bearcats, were outscored 2-6 in back-to-back losses to William and Mary at home and on the road at Hofstra. Then you tied Colgate. What turned the tide to defeat Lafayette and Iona and find a way to get on the winning side of things and also to flip the goal scoring 3-1 in your favor in these last two games? Just what you could say about how this team adjusted from 2 losses and turned it into a tie, and then turned that tie from there into victories, because some teams kind of lose. We talked about mental toughness and focus. How did this team change the trajectory of where you were going and didn't let 2 losses become 3 or 4 and are now back on the winning side?
Yeah, so we started off pretty well from the first game, Mount St. Mary's, then into against Lemoyne for the home opener. And from those 2 feelings, we absolutely loved it. And then after we got to the William Mary game, I feel like we kind of, I don't really know how to put it. Nothing really went in our favour for that. And after that feeling, and then the feeling afterwards against Hofstra, I just know that this team does not want to accept that as it is, and we don't want to get into the mindset and the emotion of losing, and then just falling into that trap of being in an endless loop of it. So we kind of brought that down. Well, that's it. We've had enough of it, and we're going to give everything to get back on our winning ways. And I think we've done that. And this time we've kind of realised this is how we want to be for the rest of the season. So we're going to keep the mentality we've got now. Hopefully, turn this like kind of string of games we've had to get in a win to carry on now for the next coming weeks.
Do you have anything special you do, Luke, before a game? Either it's a mantra, something that you say to yourself, something that you physically do, something that you think about, music that you listen to. Do you have every pregame I have to do this?
For me, it's always, no matter what time of day it is, due to time difference, my dad will always send me different messages of how to get me to picture what I need to do in the game. So I always read what he has to say and begin picturing what's going to happen in the game. So that's a given for everyone. And then music-wise, I usually go for Oasis on game days to get me on for it.
I love it. Coach, before I let you go, we're going to play some rapid fire here, and so I'm going to try to make sure both of the guys get involved with this, and you get a question as well. So if Carlo is around, Carlo can ask me the first question. It could be anything, Carlo. It could be soccer or literally anything ever, and I have to answer it on international television and radio. There's people in Germany that could be watching this right now, so go easy on me. What do you got for me?
All right, I'll give you an easy one right off the bat. Ronaldo or Messi?
Ronaldo or Messi?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness me.
Rapid fire.
What'd you say?
Rapid fire.
I know. I mean, I feel like everybody says Messi, so I want to say Ronaldo, but I'm gonna lean. I love what Messi's doing for the game, and I love what he has done for the United States of America side of things. So I'm gonna say Messi right now, but it's like 51-49. I want to say Ronaldo, but I'm gonna say Messi because that's my knee jerk. My question back to you, Carlo. If any one of your teammates was going to be driving this bus, who would you trust to get you there safely? Who's the most responsible teammate?
I don't have to think about it. It's Jack Root. After the game against Iona, I saw a picture of him sitting at the wheel. He didn't actually take it, but I think if it came down to it, I have no doubt that he would do it. He's just the man for the job, and I don't have to think about it much.
Fair enough. Coach, what's your first question for me?
Well, first, a shout out to my daughter. Their team plays today. When you asked that question to Luke and he said his dad, I've already sent my daughter a couple of texts. I do send her some music sometimes as well. I try to be a dad and not a coach in those moments in the morning before she's playing.
Yeah.
So hopefully good luck to the women at New Haven.
Yes, absolutely.
Right,
shout out to New Haven for them.
My question, can I shout two quick ones? So who's your favorite Manchester United player?
Oh my goodness. Who's my favorite Manchester United player? I'm an Italy and Spain guy. I'm an AC Milan and FC Barcelona and whatnot. So my favorite Manchester United player ever or right now?
It could be ever.
I would. Oh my goodness. Who the heck would I pick? Best ever?
I mean, there's so many to choose from.
I know. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna refresh my memory and I'm gonna stare at some of these names right now. There's guys from back in like the 40s. I would say that's you know what? I want to say this one because honestly of the leap that he did with a shout out to Luke, Brian Kidd, who played from 67 to 74. He had a jump that's very similar to Luke Yates. So I'm going to pick Brian Kidd.
He did. And then my second part would be, who is your favorite professional manager, coach?
My favorite professional man. Are we talking about MLS or no?
No, it can be MLS, it can be English, it can be Spanish, anybody.
My favorite manager. I'd probably have to go back to... I want to say that I would probably go back to 2006. And the reason why I would do that, I was down in Florida. I was down in Disney. And I was watching the World Cup. So I would probably have to give it to Marcello. And I'd probably have to give it to Italy's World Cup team in 2006. I'd have to give it to him because he was the beginning for me of watching my heritage win. So for him and for the team in 2006, I'm going to paint a picture for a second. So I was working at Epcot, and at Epcot we have the World Showcase, and each country they used to be like this. I don't know if it's like this anymore. But Disney used to say, like, you couldn't work at a pavilion of a country unless you came from that country. Like, unless you were literally from that country. So I couldn't because I was born in America. So France, these French people were like, they were just trash talking. They were talking to, like, Germany and all these people saying, oh, we got it for you. I remember this one guy was on the bus. And he was saying to this girl from Germany, he was like, oh, baby, we're going to take care of Italy. Don't you worry. We got it. And in our break room at Epcot, everybody's in the break room. So I don't know if anybody was working in the French pavilion at the time. And,
watching the game?
And so, yeah, so we were all watching the game. It was like middle of the day. And I want to say it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Might have been later. But we're watching this game, and they have French flags that they put next to the television. It's all France, and then like me, who's cheering on Italy, and a few of my friends. So penalty kick when they went up to Zidane and they got him to headbutt, and I remember they were like, "What did he say?" And the manager had said, he said they had said something. He said my player had said something about like Zidane's sister or something like that. And they're like, well, what do you think about it? And he said, hey, he knew that it would get to him. He knew that it would work. And so he used it to his advantage. We won on penalty kicks. It's the first time I ever saw any of my teams win, because then Spain won after in 2010. I jumped up in the air, said Viva Italia, and I ran full speed out because there was like 70 French people in there. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to say my favorite manager comes from the 2006 World Cup.
So I had the opportunity to be at that World Cup. My wife and I went to the Italy-US game, and I felt similar to you, except I was in the Italian section. So my wife and I are in a white top each. There's only one other white top. We're sitting behind the goal, and it's a sea of blue. We are in the Italian section, supporter section.
Yeah.
And we had a wonderful day, yeah. And obviously it was a great game for the U.S. It was a really good game in general. But no, I remember that World Cup. It was a wonderful experience for us.
I was going to say,
right, so here,
yeah, I was going to say really quick, Coach, what was that like that was one of the greatest moments of my life to experience that. But you got to be there.
Well, the U.S. score a goal, and I jump up screaming, shouting, celebrating. I wasn't as high as Luke the other day, but I was high in the air. And the goal actually gets called back. And the Italians, they have a similar moment. And, you know, there was good banter in the stadium. It was a really good game for us. That was the same game where Brian McBride takes an elbow to the face and, you know, breaks his cheekbone. So there was a delay in the game, but it was just a wonderful experience. And the Germans hosts were great. What a great city to be in. I went to a couple of games while we were there, and then we watched a couple in the fan zones. They did a great job hosting the World Cup. I'm really looking forward to 2026 when we host as well.
Yeah, I think we should do a team thing. I think that we should do a broadcast covering the World Cup where Binghamton University and I get to
let
go
me know.
do something.
We'll travel.
Yeah,
have tickets. We'll travel.
Let's do it. I'm all for that. So, I mean, you got to go when it comes to your home. So,
Of
Luke,
course.
what is your? So, my question back to. So, I got to ask you a question, Coach, before we go to Luke here. If you could have dinner, Coach, with any three current soccer players professionally, anywhere in the world, if you could have dinner with any three, who would they be and why?
I would definitely have dinner with Ronaldo and Messi. I mean, I would want two aliens. They're arguably the best players of all time.
Yeah.
And then I would need somebody between them to keep them from fighting. Let's see. I would have probably have. Now I have to have a United player, so I would probably have. I'd have. You know what? I'd have Casemiro. I would have Casemiro. One, the language that they speak would all be, you know, Spanish, Portuguese. I would be an interpreter. Those would be the three that I would have. And all between the two.
I like it. Luke, what's your question for me? Oh, sorry. What'd you say?
Culture. We had a Brazilian foreign exchange student that lived with us when I was a kid. In fact, he loved the state so much that he stayed. So I've had a Brazilian background in soccer, you know, since I was a young teenager. So I've really enjoyed that culture of soccer. So here, Luke.
Yeah. All right, Luke.
My question is, what do you think of, like, your favorite footballing memory throughout your life? Like, what is the standout moment that made you realize how much you love soccer as a whole?
All right, I'm going to bring you to when I coached. So I would love to do it again someday. But I coached, I was in Pennsylvania. I graduated from Marywood University, an hour south of Binghamton. And when I was down there, I was working at ESPN Radio and doing my show at the time, which was called the Dan Tortora Show. I wanted to coach. I was trying to find a place. And, of course, I played basketball growing up. I had never coached soccer before. I hadn't played soccer, but I was dating one of the girls that was on the Marywood University soccer team, and through her family and their love and their passion for it and just being incredible athletes, two sisters and then two brothers on the, like, everybody was good, and arguably Logan, the youngest of the four, was the best. So I wanted to coach, and there was a soccer opportunity at Carbondale, Pennsylvania. It was a travel team in the YMCA. They didn't have a logo. They didn't have a name. I gave them a logo. I gave them a name. Got them T-shirts so we could have some type of jersey. And they said, "Who do you want?" I said, "Give me the youngest that you have," because I wanted to. My intent was to stay and be with them all the way through. So they gave me U12, 8 to 11-year-olds, and my favorite moment ever in my life. It would be easy to pick Italy and Spain winning Euros, and as well as during COVID when Italy did it. And that video that I had, if you go back and watch it, I went absolutely nuts. And of course, the World Cups have been fun back to back. But my favorite moment was my final game coaching Carbondale YMCA, the Carbondale Pride. And that moment was, we were tied. We had to play on a different field. It was a home match for us. We had to switch fields, so because our field didn't have lights and the game was later, so we had to go to a field not too far away that had lights. The goal was like half the size of the goals that we were used to, and we agreed to play in these elements. We were tied at the end, and I wanted to win. So they said to the coach, like, "Listen, the game can end in a tie." They asked the other coach, they said, "What do you want to do?" I was playing it cool, expressionless, typical Italian, Hispanic. I'm not going to show my face. I'm not going to show my cards. And I said, "Hey, whatever he wants to do, go and talk to him. And then, let me know what he's thinking." I was like stone face. I really wanted to play, but I didn't want to give that away. And so he goes, "Yeah, let's play." And he looks at me, he goes, "You want to play?" I was like, "Yeah." I said, he goes, "Let's play. Let's play on." So we agreed to play overtime, and we agreed that the first goal scored was going to be a victory. And we were seconds into it. And one of my guys, corner kick, this kid, tremendous kid, never did anything wrong, awesome kid. He couldn't get to the game sometimes, so I go pick him up and drop him off. Just like one of the sweetest kids in the world, super, super talented, no ego. And he goes to the right side of the goal for his corner. And I didn't know enough about the sport at the time to know what this was. So he sets up for his corner. He kicks the ball. It swings around the goalkeeper, goes around the front of the goalie, and goes into the left side of the net and bangs into the net. And everybody stops. And I hear one of my kids go, "Golden goal." And they run out onto the field. The kid looks at me, and I was like, "What just happened?" And he just nonchalant, shrugs his shoulders. We win on the golden goal. The other coach goes, "Oh, I didn't agree to play overtime, da da da." I was like, "Get out of here. We won." It's like 30-something degrees outside. My team comes over to me. All the kids jump on me. They dump water on me and Gatorade. I'm drenched. It's 31 degrees. I'm on the ground. And I was smiling, and I said, "This must be what it feels like to win the professional games out there." To this day, it was one of the greatest feelings of my life, and I would have stayed on that ground forever with those kids because I love them dearly. And yeah, we won on a golden goal, so I'm going to say that moment.
Perfect.
Yeah. So my question, I know we're losing signal a little bit here, so let me get one in for you, Luke. My question back to you is, what is your greatest experience in soccer that you've seen firsthand? Like a game that you've been to that was the greatest moment that you've ever seen so far?
Yeah, as one of the fans are. So when I was a kid and I was still playing Sunday League football in England, we had a fundraiser to go out to Barcelona. And it was while Messi was still there, and we were lucky enough to get tickets to go to the new camp. And I can't really remember the season, but I know they were playing Real Betis, and they were 2-1 down at the time. And Messi just got injury, and he started warming up and hitting the crowd, just all scream. And as soon as he went on, they had a free kick, and literally the first touch of the game that Messi had, kicked the ball, it went straight in the top corner, and I've never felt or experienced anything like that.
That's awesome. So, with that being said, I appreciate that. For Luke Yates, for Carlo Cavalar, for head coach Paul Marco, for the entire Bearcats men's soccer team, for Binghamton University, they are talking to us from on the road in this Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Binghamton University Bearcats. They have a match today at 4 p.m. Eastern Time in Jersey City, New Jersey against St. Peter's. And I can't thank y'all enough for making some history with me. I've never been on a road trip with a soccer team and gotten to celebrate this. So my best to you on the match. I will be watching this afternoon. God bless to you all. Stay safe and go have some fun.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Appreciate you.